Nobody, no one can be a Batman. But I feel like anybody can be a Nightwing. Look, if you or I, or any of your chums, put on a Batman outfit, and you start parading around the streets and the alleys, people are going to be able to see right through you and be like, that's obviously not Batman. But if you put a man in a Nightwing costume, I'll buy it. I mean, I'll buy it for at least until I'll be like, hey, just do me a quick backflip, and then he'll talk about how the costume's too tight, and then I'll be like, alright, maybe you're not a Nightwing, but I'm just saying, I'm not upset about this. I'm into this run. Look at this. This is Rick. Don't you forget it. I still have some comics from last week I gotta do. I gotta do The Drowned Earth. I gotta do Batman the Max, but I picked this up today. So let's just do it. Let's just get into this. So we got blood. We got a Nightwing here. I'm sorry, Rick. Rick here, he's just chilling and he's lamenting. He's like, I've been told I spent the last chunk of my life as a superhero. If that's the case, how did I screw this up so badly? If you've forgotten, he did this last time, but you gotta remember, a guy pulled a gun on you. This is a win for me. If somebody pulls a gun on you and then they end up like this, I don't think that's called screwing up. This is called being a goddamn hero. You saved your own life. You didn't let him steal your cab, and you certainly didn't drive him anywhere, because that was the final straw, honestly. So he's like, the cops are here because of me. He was asking for it by pushing that gun to my head. I mean, yeah, you put a gun to my head, you get a broken neck and a broken nose. Broken nose, at least. You even, like, do finger guns at me, I'm gonna have to cause you bodily harm in some capacity. And you can tell here this is different artists than what's been going on. Look at this, credits crazy. Fabian Nicieza working at DC. What? How long has that been going on? Probably forever. I just didn't notice. Chris Mooneyham, great surname. It's got this more like sketchy looking style. I'm kind of into it because I feel like everything in Bloodhaven is sketchy. Heyo. So, okay, so he gets into what actually happened. He was like, you know what, I was trying to look at a trinket that reminded me of my mom. This bracelet. You know, shouldn't be going window shopping at Bloodhaven at 3 a.m. Because, you know what, this shit is going to happen. But look at this. He took him down. He didn't even know what he was doing. He took him apart in 3 seconds. Look, I've never been in a fight. But I have the faith that deep down inside of me, that at some point I was in a secret government organization or some sort of sleep terror cell or maybe an anti-government thing, but I just have faith in me that if I ever get in a fight, those like dormant reflexes are going to kick in and somebody starts, you know, throwing a fist in my face and I just grab the wrist really hard. I have faith in me that it's in there. He's seeing it as a loss. I'm into it. But see, as long as I never get in a fight, I never have to think that that's not true. Like, you can lie to yourself. If you want to do it, you can lie to yourself. So he eventually called the cops. Some stuff starts crumbling. He starts falling down. I'll skip it because it doesn't really matter at all. But then we see him like, look at this. I'm Rick. See, Dick can't pull off these moves. I mean, Dick, he can definitely pull off this move, but Rick's dick is actually bigger. So if you just like want to add a couple centimeters to your junk, just start going by Rick, because I feel like that elongates it. And then look at this, like guys named Rick, I feel like their eyeballs are sewn shut, well their eyelids are sewn shut at least 25% of the time. You can't prove me wrong on that one. So he's looking downright graceful, but still kind of petrified because these are you know, reflexes. I think we would all just fucking die in this scenario. But you know, if you're falling to your death, but then you start yelling, I go by Rick now, I feel like this is the exact situation that would happen. But eventually he fucks up. Then it starts connecting to, if you've forgotten in some of the previous issues, there's this stuff about a guy who got waterboarded, but there's no water. What? How? And that starts getting connected, and then we see how it's going to connect to Scarecrow, who's been mentioned in like the previous 2 issues, but I didn't see how it was really going to wrap around. But then we see this. Oh, we see this right here. I'll skip those pages. They're actually pretty cool. So we see this guy who's under the influence of some scarecrow toxin, and he's yelling, "I'm not afraid of you." But you see this? He's got two guns in his hands, and I feel like, I mean, look at that. That's the face of fear. If you're not, like, whenever I get afraid, which is never, because I'm a fucking G, but if I did, I would immediately have my eyes roll in the back of my head and bare my teeth. And also, I feel like there's a correlation between how many guns you have on your person and how afraid you are. Like this bitch right here, she's got her one service weapon because she's an officer of the law. They just give him that. That doesn't indicate her level of fear. But this guy, he's rocking 2. That's how afraid he is. So, I mean, by that logic, I feel like the Punisher is fucking terrified. He's shaking in those go-go boots all the time. He's just straight up, and also he just fears everything, so he has to murder everything. I feel like that's good. But then she just blasts this dude 5 times, and that's gonna be, that IA investigation is gonna be fucking brutal. But the scenes before this, it is pretty cool what happens, and I can't actually wait to see when Scarecrow and Nightwing converge, because Scarecrow is like, "I'm afraid of the boy with no fear," who's Robin. So does Scarecrow know that Robin is Nightwing? Because if he's afraid of Nightwings, I got bad fucking news, because there's 5 of these motherfuckers out here. Well, 4, and then a dude named Rick, which, dudes named Rick are wild cards. You can't guess. So, what has old Rick been doing this time? I almost said he's getting some pussy, and I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I didn't say that just now. But if you've forgotten, it hasn't been that long, but he's basically living out of his cab, and he's breaking into places, and he's squatting, because guess what? Homes are overrated. Yeah, let's get into that level of, because you know how everybody, they're lying to themselves about those tiny houses? Oh, look at the crown molding. I'm so goddamn sick of that commercial. Who gives a shit about crown molding? And if you tell me you're a crown molding expert, get the fuck out of here and get a new career. I don't have a career. No career is better than a career in crown molding. There, I said it. I said what your family and friends have been wanting to tell you for years. You got a degree in crown molding? What? Cavemen didn't have crown molding, and I model everything after the cavemen. No, I don't do paleo, because, like, I like bread. Anyway, like, where do I even fucking go? So what I'm trying to say is, this guy, he's seen through it. He's seen the way that the world is going. We go from apartments and houses to tiny houses, eventually just squatting in houses that already exist. But he's got a lot of cats here because he's squatting in an old lady's house who he took to the hospital. That's how he knows. Hey, if you're a cabbie and you're not, using the information that people are giving you for your own personal gain, what are you even doing? I mean, television has led me to believe that people just spew everything out to a cab driver, so then, use it to your benefit. If they're going to talk your ear off, scam them out of their money, or, have a little staycation in some other place. But you got all these cats out here, and I gotta tell you, not a good look for a guy, because dogs are better in every single conceivable way to a cat, except for landing on their feet. But if we take landing on their feet as the metaphor, I feel like it's easier to give a dog a new home than it is to a cat. Because cats are just like, they'll just look at you and then look away. Dog's not going to pull that garbage on you. So he's been staying in this place. He doesn't have a home because he's evolving. He goes by Rick. His dick gets bigger. He sees that having a place to rent or whatever is totally passé. He sees right through that shit, and he's like, you know what, I will sleep in an old lady's bed full of cats, because he's evolved. He's seen past us. He's evolved so much he doesn't even listen to Devo anymore. But he has to get out of here. And then we finally get to what's going on in this comic. Normally, not a lot happens. I feel like they're setting stuff up, so I don't feel too bad about, showing the majority of stuff. But we see these people. We're at the Langley Point shooting range at the evening. The best time to shoot, where you can kind of see people, but then you can also say, hey, I thought it was a gun when it turned out to be a cell phone. Evening, the perfect time. I mean, you would say nighttime's the perfect time, but it's like, no, because I still want to see what they have in their hand, and I go, oh, that's a cell phone. I kind of feel like murdering someone today. Pop, pop, pop. There you go. It's evening. Shoot people. If you're a cop, shoot people in the evening for your own safety. Nighttime, it's risky. It might actually be a gun. And then you'll be defending yourself instead of, satisfying your bloodlust of murdering innocent people. So he's got these people here, and this guy, he's like, I finally realized what I gotta do. What happened in the previous issue? A cop, he found Nightwing's lair that he tried to burn down, but those goddamn glass tubes that I went on and on about, they're not flammable because they're glass. I'm telling you, follow the glass tube trails and you'll find people with the most terrible secrets. I mean, at least one person's got just a Taiwanese whore that they just put in a glass tube. But it's like a giant bank tube, so your Taiwanese whore can follow you throughout your mansion. So she can always see what you're doing, but she doesn't do anything. You just look at her. You just look at her and you know that you bought another human being. There's not a goddamn thing she can do about it. And it's funny to watch her go through the tubes. Because, I mean, you gotta have a little bit of fun when you're a fucking billionaire out of your mind. So we're introduced to this cast. So the guy who found Nightwing stuff, he's like, oh god. Nightwing's gone, Bloodhaven's gone to shit, I need some stuff. So he's like, thanks for responding to this cryptic message. I need you to help me save this city. Seriously? Yeah, I don't know what it is about DC heroes and just constantly being like, this city. Just say the world. You might lose some people about, yeah, you come to me and you talk about yo, Lindsey, you want to help save Bloodhaven? No, lost cause. Fuck it. Lindsey, you want to save the world? Fuck, I live in the world. I guess I have to. So she's like, he has a flair for the dramatic. And then we see, boom, look at this. This isn't a man named Rick. This isn't even a man named Dick. This is a man named Alphonse, which, I don't know. Yeah, these people, they're fucking wigging out, and he's like, he lays out the case. Nightwing's gone. He may be dead. He may just have quit. But I found one of his bunkers. The blood has fallen apart, which, you know what, I'm not a local, so I feel weird calling it the blood. And he says, look, vigilantes operate without restrictions. They get things done we can. I think dark times call for dark nights. Hey, he was like, ooh, that's gonna get him. Who wants to do good? My real question here is, how do you choose which Nightwing costume you're gonna get? Because he found it. Finders keepers. He got to pick the one he wanted. I would have gone with the red. So Alphonse not starting off great. So he picks the blue. How do these three determine? Do they play Injustice? Does Injustice live in this world? I'm talking about the game. Of course, Injustice is in the world. I just talked about a lady being a slave in a gigantic bank tube. That's real. Somewhere out there. That shit's real. Rock, paper, scissors. I would like to say street fight. Give me an issue where these three just beat the shit out of each other. Then, the woman is going to be like, hey, let's beat up the black guy. And then the black guy's like, no, white men are terrible. You know how it is. And then they team up just give me a 48-page of them just trying to figure out which costume they're going to have. That's team building. Why do you think gangs jump in their members? Because beating the shit out of someone is a team building exercise. Prove me wrong. What do you think people do on company retreats? They shoot paintballs at each other, they fuck each other's brains out, and then they beat the shit out of each other. In that order. Maybe all at the same time. But this is just to serve as a reminder. If you live in a big city, explore every bunker, explore every hidey hole, because you might find some good shit. I mean, at the very least, you're gonna find some used needles, and hey, who doesn't need used needles? And then I was going to this be it, but I just have to share this right here. So, our boy Rick here is a cab driver, Rick the cab driver, and he's just sort of talking about, his job. Now it draws gentrifying moths, and we see these ladies with yoga pants and just huge pelvic bones. I don't know what the correlation is there, but this dialogue right here. Did you get him? And get a picture of him? Hashtag hot cabbie. Like, I know it's supposed to be cringe, but that's even much for me. Saying hashtag in real life. Something happens with one of Rick's friends. He rushes to it, and then he sees this guy. The authorities will handle this. And that guy looks cool as fuck. But this guy's like, what? Am I having a psychotic break or something? So, I'm excited about issue 53. I'm definitely hopping on that. So, you know, just get out there, explore every crevice. But that's probably how that Taiwanese hooker did end up in the glass bank tube slavery scenario. So, you know, maybe take a buddy.